Hello, my name is Samantha Barnaby. I am the Senior Planning Associate on the planning team at CARES of NY. Today, I will provide a brief overview of the fiscal year 21 Continuum of Care Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO, New Project Opportunities. This webinar was developed specifically for COC membership, board members, and community stakeholders. CARES developed this webinar because we believe it is our responsibility as collaborative applicant to provide clear and concise information on the COC NOFO to the full community to ensure the COC process is community-centered and transparent. Today's presentation provides a summary of new project opportunities available in the fiscal year 21 COC NOFO. Specifically, the presentation will discuss what a new project application is, how much funding is available for new projects, what forms new projects can take, who is eligible to apply for a new project, and how to apply for a new project. Because the NOFO details a variety of important topics, CARES has produced a series of webinars to cover specific topics in more detail. Additional webinars include presentations on NOFO summary, HUD priorities, and the consolidated application. The topic we are discussing today, new project opportunities, bonus and reallocation. DV bonus opportunity. Opportunities for renewing projects, consolidation and transition grants. eSNAP's refresher, setting up a renewal project. eSNAP's refresher, setting up a new project. Please be sure to view these webinars on the NOFO section of the CARES website. Please also be sure to visit the NOFO page on the CARES website often for important application information and due dates. COC program project applications fall into two general categories: renewal applications and new project applications. As their names suggest, renewal applications are submitted annually by agencies currently receiving COC funding to support existing projects. New project applications propose to use bonus or reallocation funding to provide additional units, services, etc. We'll focus primarily on COC bonus and reallocation funding this morning. But I do want to note that new project applications may also be submitted for DV bonus funding, the parameters of which are outlined in our DV bonus project webinar. New project applications may be submitted as a new project, an expansion grant, or a transition grant. Again, just as a note, we intend to focus primarily on the first two and would otherwise point you to our Consolidation and Transition Grants webinar for the latter. HUD allows COCs to apply for up to 5% of the final pro rata need. Reallocation funding becomes available when a COC opts to shift funds from an existing eligible renewal project to create a new project. Reallocation may be considered if a project is underperforming or regularly returning money to HUD that could otherwise be utilized in the community by another project, or when a project just may no longer be meeting a current community need. This slide shows the new funding that is available in COC bonus and DV bonus funding for each community this year. These are also available per your respective COCs on the NOFO page of the CARES website under COC public postings. Any nonprofit organization, state, Indian tribe, or tribally designated housing entity, or local government or instrumentalities of state or local government are eligible to apply for COC bonus or reallocation funding. Applicants do not need to currently receive COC program funding in order to be eligible. Project applications must meet the eligibility threshold requirements outlined in the fiscal year 21 COC program competition NOFO. Page 44. See also 24 CFR Part 578.19. We'll discuss this in slide 12. There are 5 project types eligible this year for bonus or reallocation funding. First, permanent supportive housing that is either dedicated plus or has 100% of beds dedicated to persons experiencing chronic homelessness. All dedicated plus projects have to serve, at least in part, households with children. A dedicated plus project targets people who are chronically homeless, were chronically homeless prior to entering a transitional housing program that is now closing, or prior to entering the transitional housing portion of a transitional housing rapid rehousing program. Were chronically homeless prior to being enrolled in a permanent housing project within the last year, but were unable to maintain that placement. Were homeless for at least 12 months in the last 3 years, but not on 4 or more separate occasions, as is required to meet the definition of chronic homeless. The individual or head of household must also have a disabling condition. Receiving VA assistance and meet one of the above criteria discussed. As a reminder, if your COC can show there are currently no chronic homeless persons in the community, as shown through the coordinated entry list, beds dedicated to those who are chronically homeless can be opened up to other homeless populations. 2. Rapid rehousing projects serving persons who qualify as homeless under paragraphs 1, 2, or 4 of 24 CFR 578.3. Rapid rehousing connects persons experiencing homeless to permanent housing in the community through rental assistance and a tailored package of supportive services. For Category 1, these are folks who are unsheltered, so residing in a location not meant for human habitation, like under a bridge or in their car. Or sheltered, which can include emergency shelters or hotels paid for by DSS, as well as those exiting an institution where they resided for less than 90 days and were homeless at entry. Category 2 includes those at imminent risk of losing their residence, so within 14 days. And Category 4 covers those fleeing domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, stalking, etc. 3. Joint transitional housing rapid rehousing projects serving persons who qualify as homeless under paragraphs 1, 2, or 4 of 24 CFR 578.3. Joint component projects combined transitional housing and rapid rehousing into a single project. 4. HMIS. This project type can only be applied for by the HMIS lead. And 5. Support services only for coordinated entry. Please note, any youth serving provider may serve unaccompanied youth aged 24 and under, or families headed by youth aged 24 and under, who have an unsafe primary nighttime residence and no safe alternatives to that residence. All new projects are required to enter into the HMIS system, or Homeless Management Information System. DV projects must enter into a system that is compatible to the HMIS. All new projects must participate in the COC's coordinated entry system. Project applicants must match all requested grant funds, except for leasing funds, with no less than 25% of funds or in-kind contributions from other sources. HUD will allow new projects to request 1 year of funding with a longer initial grant term not to exceed 18 months to allow for the additional time required to start a program. HUD strongly encourages all rental assistance to begin within 12 months of award. All new projects must meet a specific quality threshold before HUD will consider the project for funding. Specifically, project applicants and subrecipients must demonstrate the financial and management capacity and experience to carry out the project and the capacity to administer federal funds. This includes satisfactory capacity, drawdowns, and performance for existing grants funded through the Shelter Plus Care or COC programs. Project applicants must demonstrate they will be able to meet all timeline standards per 24 CFR 578.85. New project application responses should demonstrate that the type of housing proposed fits the needs of program participants. The type of supportive services offered ensures successful retention or rapid placement into permanent housing and are provided in a way that fits participants' needs. The proposed project has a specific plan to coordinate and integrate with other mainstream health, social services, and employment programs, and that participants are assisted in obtaining benefits for which they may be eligible. The proposed project provides enough rapid rehousing assistance to ensure participants may move from transitional to permanent housing. Joint transitional housing and permanent housing rapid rehousing. And coordinated entry and HMIS project quality thresholds can be found on page 47 and 48 of the NOFO. Apart from project quality, the NOFO does not clearly outline the process by which HUD selects bonus projects for funding. We do know, however, how HUD determines funding for projects placed in Tier 2, and all bonus projects are placed in Tier 2 in order to ensure an existing project that currently houses persons is not displaced by a new project. Tier 2 projects are scored on a 100-point scale. 50 points for the COC score, 40 points for project ranking, and 10 points for commitment to low barriers to entry and rapid placement and stabilization in permanent housing. Low barriers to entry is demonstrated by entry without preconditions and regardless of income, current or past substance use, history of victimization, and criminal record, except restrictions imposed by federal, state, or local law or ordinance, and that prioritizes rapid placement and stabilization in permanent housing, but does not prohibit the use of service participation requirements after participants have stabilized in permanent housing. New projects are funded through COC bonus funding, reallocation funding, and domestic violence bonus funding. New projects can take the following forms: new projects, expansion projects, and transition grants. Expansion is a process by which a renewal project applicant submits a new project application to expand its current operations by adding units, beds, persons served, services provided to existing program participants, or HMIS and coordinated entry capacity. Expansion projects cannot replace other funding sources. Expansion project applications may be submitted through bonus and/or reallocation funding and are subject to the eligible activities we discussed. Permanent supportive housing that is dedicated plus or has 100% of beds dedicated to persons experiencing chronic homelessness. Rapid rehousing projects serving persons who qualify as homeless under paragraphs 1, 2, or 4 of 24 CFR 578.3. Joint transitional housing and rapid rehousing projects serving persons who qualify as homeless under paragraphs 1, 2, or 4 of 24 CFR 578.3. HMIS and support services only projects for coordinated entry. Project applications requesting expansion funds must submit 2 project applications: the renewal project application to be expanded and a new project application with just the expansion information. In terms of process and timeline for submitting new project applications, new project applications must be submitted both through your COC's local rank and review process and through eSNAPs. Please check your local COC rank and review process to determine when new project applications are due to the Rank and Review Committee. The rank and review process instructions, applications, and scoring tools for new projects are listed under your respective COCs on the CARES website at www.caresny.org. All new project applications must be submitted in eSNAPs on or before October 1st. And finally, all new project applications are ranked and will be listed on a separate COC priority listing from renewal project applications. Thank you for listening to this webinar. For any questions, please contact any member of the CARES planning team, as listed on this slide. Remember, please be sure to visit the NOFO section of the CARES website for more information and important deadlines. CARES Fiscal Year 21 NOFO webinar series are listed below and can be accessed on the CARES website.